Welcome back to the Beef and Barnzy channel. Real talk reviews, this time with the Summit Peak. And we're going to warm up the same way we normally do now. And I'm at the ITRC here in Arlington, Texas, and we're bowling on sort of a house pattern. You get an idea of what's on the lane. So you can see what's going on and I can see what's going on all at the same time. I'll throw 4 shots and by then I'll be lined up enough that we'll get started. So the Summit Peak is obviously the shinier pearl version of the Summit. 246056. This thing is a monster symmetrical core. It's as low RG as we're allowed. And just about as much flare as we're allowed. It has the same TX23 cover that's on the Summit, but this time it's pearlized, covered with reactogloss finish. You know, I'm gonna be honest, the Summit didn't really make my bag that much, but I am looking forward to see what this one can do. 3 shots in, so far every shot's hooked, so we're still moving left. See the track starting to show up a little bit, so that was pretty good right there. That was 25 with my feet, looking at about 13 at the arrows. 16.1 up on the monitor, which means I was about 18.5 or so overall. And just to give you guys some kind of benchmark, I'll throw the Zen for this last one since I'm halfway lined up, and we'll see what we got. All right, 4 shots in, pretty well lined up where we want to go. As you can see, I had a little bit shorter pin this time, so instead of moving it up, I kind of did my stock down drilling. So this is going to be about 4 3/4 by 3.5 by about 4. So stock pin down drilling. I've used this in a few different things. Really like a blackout like this. You've seen some of my other reviews. The Journey was like this. This ball certainly feels like it's a little cleaner than the Journey. But let's get started. Say we're a Brunswick Pro lane here at the ITRC in lane 1. Certainly right away, the one thing you can see is it's a lot quicker than the original Summit was. These kind of numbers though, it's going to really fit into that benchmark type ball. 246 is about, that's as low as we can go with RG. It's right up against the number 056. That's about as high differential as you can get before you push up against that 060 number, which gets you into the danger zone here at USBC. Oh, that's a little in. Well, we got a little polish. Thank goodness. Smoother for sure. And that's kind of what it's built to be. It's built to be a benchmark type ball. But for some of you that bowl in places that hook in the front, well, most bolero centers, or any place that uses oil like terrain or anything like that. So we'll move 3 or 4, get a little straighter here, see what that looks like. And for those of you that watched my last Absolute Power video, the Absolute Power did hook more in the down lane with that straighter, flatter hand. This ball was still smooth and continuous, but it did see the lane. All right, let's move way left and see what happens here. Well, retain some of that big core energy that the Summit did show. Guys like Tom Hess on the senior tour just absolutely mauled them with this thing, with the original. And so this is a ball down off of it. Will make perfect sense. It's a TX23. It's the big brother of the TX16 cover that that we saw on the Phase 2. Oh. I didn't mind moving in, even with that lower pin drilling. So, 5 shots in. Let's add some rotation to see if it looks better or worse. We'll stay left where we were. Just add, and turn my hand about 2 hours on the clock and move about 2 boards with my feet. Wow. It's looking pretty good so far. And we'll go back to our original starting position. So reactor gloss, when it first came out, I think there was some opinions that maybe it didn't hook as much down lane or not, but I think any of those issues have been solved. I have not had any issue having reactor gloss affecting down lane hook. So it's really, I haven't taken the polish off of any balls here in probably 6-8 months, and so wouldn't be afraid to use them shiny as is, or feel like you need to knock it off to make them look better. All right, let's go a little straighter again. Oh boy, just missed the lane. My straight game is going to need a little work. A little missing at the bottom. D-cell move is no good. When we get done here, we're going to test it up against a Zen Gold, a Zen. I didn't even have a Summit, even though the Summit has a little more surface on it. Okay, let's try that again. A little straighter. You see, it still picks up in the mid lane, still continues through pretty well. Quite a bit cleaner. Not bad. If we're being honest here, this isn't the hardest house shot I've ever bowled on. Front 10. Well, who knows? Come down here to practice with my kid a little bit. I started striking a little bit more like him. Should look into it more often, huh? Needed to move just a touch. All right, well, 289. No walk-off like at League last week. Well, I think we've already seen it a touch, but I think we're just going to test it up against the original Zen. So this is my standard 5 1/4. 5 1/4 by 4 by 3 drilling. We'll stay in the same spot. Oh, that's a little wider. Zen got down the lane a little easier, but I probably helped it that way a little too. All right, let's try that again. All right, 14 instead of 13. Or 15. Combination of the pin versus, I think it also is a little bit longer than a Summit Peak. Probably a little more directional off of it. And next we'll throw the Zen Gold, and this has got a little even taller pin. So it's also going to be about 5 1/4, but it's going to be 5 1/4 by 6 by 2. So cleaner yet again. That one doesn't want to hook nearly as much in the front. That Zen Gold is probably one of the cleanest covers on a very similar core shape. Core numbers, not necessarily shape. I believe the Summit Peak also has the AI core technology, so if that's what floats your boat. Good grief. Oh man gets gassed. I was trying to get a little further right so you could see, but I guess I did it. Golly, I love GSXs. Let's go left and slower so you can really see. Cleaner to the spot for sure, at least to my eye. I don't know if you can see it on the video, I hope you can. But, and the last one will be the Summit, or I'm sorry, the Sublime. And again, probably 5.25 again, give or take, almost 5.5. And just throw from the same spot. You can see just how it went through the pins, how much smoother the Sublime is. Now that one's had a little bit of surface on it. So I broke the shine, that's 2,000 surface. Go back to the Summit Peak again. All right, cleaner through the front, strong in the mid lane. This one comes out mid-January also, January 15th. You can look for that in a pro shop near you. Low RG, big flaring, symmetrical ball. It's going to be the pro version of the Summit. It's a great ball down off of it. I think this one fits as a middle of the bag top type option. I believe it's probably in the Zen range as far as that goes. It's probably a touch stronger cover. It certainly is earlier than a Zen Gold, but longer than the Sublime. So I think that's kind of where it fits in your sweet spot. Say January 15th, TX23 Pro Curvastock. You can get yours at a pro shop around January 15th. Come back to Beef and Barnzy channel for this and more Real Talk reviews, and we'll see you next time.